Okay. We'll just wait a few minutes and wait for everybody to start filtering in.
Yeah, I think we'll just give it one more minute and then we'll go ahead and kick it off. Just wait for 11:02. It's the starting point.
Perfect.
2-minute grace period.
Yeah, exactly. It's plenty of time.
All right. I guess I'll get us started. So thank you everybody for joining us today. My name is Carolina. I am the marketing coordinator at Dynamism. We're super excited to introduce Roboze into our portfolio of 3D technology. Before we begin, just familiarize yourself with the question and answer button below. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down there. We will answer them at the end. With us today, we have Levi, the Director of Channel Development. He will be going over all of the technology and unique materials that Roboze has to offer, along with some case studies and applications. And we have Haraj, who is our Director of Enterprise Solutions, who will be going over kind of what Dynamism is all about and what we have to offer. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves and get this started, that'd be great.
Terrific. Well, I appreciate the introduction, Carolina. My name is Levi Smith. I'm the Director of Channel Development over at Roboze. Really excited about this partnership with Dynamism and some of the exciting things we got planned for you today. I've been in this industry for 6 years, previously with another 3D printing company. And more or less my background over the last decade has been in tech startups, building channel and channel ecosystems. So really excited to be working with Haraj with Dynamism. I had a chance to work with them in my past and really excited to kind of kick it off. So that's a little bit about me. I'll pass it over to Haraj.
Hello, everybody. Raj Gasparian here, working with Dynamism. I've been with Dynamism for about 5 years, heading the industrial side of the printers. We'll get in a little bit of the Dynamism history in a few slides, but we're very excited to onboard with Roboze and bring the exciting materials that they're ready to display and have fun with. Back to you, Levi.
Perfect. So, I mean, in terms of the agenda today, we're going to just do a quick introduction on Dynamism. Really want to drive into who Roboze is, right? I think we have a terrific story to tell. That's going to be really the conversation. What we're about is we're a materials first organization working on some of the most difficult superpolymers and composites. And we built a patented ecosystem of technology to support those materials. So we'll be driving into that. We'll be driving into applications, some of our customers, what they're doing with our product, save plenty of time at the end for a Q&A session. So definitely drop in questions as they pop up. I know my questions they come in and then they go. So feel free to drop them in. We'll get them answered as we go. And at the end, we'll also drive into a Q&A. So that's kind of the agenda today. I'm going to pass it right back over to Hirash to talk a little bit about Dynamism.
Thanks, Levi. Dynamism established in '97, headquartered in Chicago. We have a couple of showrooms across the country as well. And I like to mention that we are doing a grand opening and expanding our showroom in Chicago starting the beginning of the year. So I would like to welcome everyone to our grand opening. If you have a chance, please stop by. There's going to be a lot of exciting printers and toys that we can play with. And again, stay tuned for the emails to come around with more information on those dates. But with Dynamism, we provide the leading edge technologies to our clients. We try to stay ahead of the curve, try to be innovative, bring the most exciting materials, technologies over to our clientele. We have experienced and dedicated professionals, everything from service, application, sales, that we can kind of address all the needs of our clients and give an unbiased expert advice to what technology and what materials work, and always looking into the future for the new exciting stuff. And this is why we partnered up with Roboze, because we think that it offers extreme value to some of the materials that they're able to print with. We work with different education institutions, national laboratories, Fortune 500 companies, all across the board, even mom and pop. We've installed printers in garages and also major labs. So we're able to adapt to all of our customers' needs and bring in the best experience that possible.
Terrific. Well, Hirash, I appreciate the introduction there. You know, I've had a chance to work with Dynamism for quite a few years. It's always a pleasure. And, you know, what I think about with regards to the 3D printing space, the additive manufacturing space, is just the amount of information out there, right? How do you filter that into your day-to-day approach to applications, solving engineering and manufacturing problems? There's so much coming at you, and you also have a day job, right? How do you deal with that? And this is why we like to bring on and that's why we're so excited about Dynamism, right? They have a very agnostic approach to solving manufacturing problems with the technology, the holistic technology solutions they offer. And so really what you need, you know, with regards to Dynamism, coming to them just with your application problem, they're going to have an agnostic technology solution on the other side. I think that's the first thing I want to touch on with Dynamism, why I'm excited. The second thing is they're always on the curve of where the future of technology is heading, right? They've been doing it since '97. I've seen it throughout my years. They know where the market's heading. They're out there approaching, vetting the market, bringing on new suppliers that represent the future. And this is, again, part of why we're so excited to be working together, right? You know, us coming to market with Dynamism is really about introducing this technology. And we really think there's a great story to tell with regards to what problems we're solving. So I just wanted to add that. We'll go ahead and get started here. We'll start with just a classic example of what you see in 3D printing, right? What we're doing over here at Roboze is helping our customers cut costs and time up to 80%. We see this on a regular basis with the accounts that we bring on, with the applications that we're looking at, the complexities of solving those problems. And we're doing it specifically with superpolymers and composites with a patented 3D printing technology ecosystem. So I'm sure people see this on a regular basis. From my point of view, we're focusing on the most difficult materials to manufacture, let alone additively manufacture. And that's really what we specialize in over at Roboze, right? We're a materials first organization. And we got, you know, we've been materials first since our inception in 2015. If we look at more or less our footprint, we're HQ'd. Our global headquarters is out of Bari, Italy. So Southern Italy. I'm at our North American HQ here in Houston, Texas. And, you know, again, we've been around for roughly 8 years now. We have over 500 printers installed. You can just get a rough feel for our footprint in the world there. So I guess going off that point, I want to touch on kind of where we've really kind of focused our technology, and that is in heavily regulated industries. And you know, there's 5 or 6 kind of you know, solutions to these problems that we come up with, right? But I mean, in energy, we see a really kind of a rickety supply chain, right? You know, you have suppliers, you have vendors that have struggled to keep up with the parts that these big oil and gas companies need, right? We've had a terrific amount of success in this regulated industry. Aerospace, you know, weight equals money. And anytime you can cut the weight and you know, deal with a complex part, you have a great story to tell. There's been a lot of success in this space as well. Mobility, industrial, medical, these are really starting to take off. You can kind of see that, you know, traditional bread and butter tooling, jigs and fixtures, to custom parts on manufacturing lines, interacting with various sets of you know, chemicals that, you know, we need chemically inert materials. There's a great story that Roboze tells here as well. Medical as well, right? You know, you need to have sterilized parts in the OR. We have a great story to tell. So this is just a rough overview of the industries that we're in, where we're having success. And we'll kind of dive into that as we go into the applications and the user stories here. As I mentioned earlier, we're a materials first organization. We have roughly 12 material scientists cooking up the newest set of materials for the 3D printed technology that we offer. And I just want to do a quick snapshot, not just over the materials, but the quality of those parts as well. We'll touch on that, right? So if we think about just the overall tree here, right? Super polymers are our superpowers, right? So those technical polymers, carbon peaks, the peaks, carbon PA and the technopolymers, these tend to be our bread and butter materials. But with Roboze, this is what we do above and beyond. The traditional ABSs that you're used to, the polypropylenes, the PLAs, the TPUs, the range of materials that you see with a traditional material extrusion printer, you're going to get with us, and you're going to get it with a very precision set of technology. And we'll kind of drive into that. And so I guess the first material I wanted to just quickly touch on, our bread and butter carbon peak, right? High compression strength, high mechanical properties. You can see the complexity of this part, right? This is an impeller in the oil and gas space. Again, our customer at the end of the day was struggling to source this part. It was originally a metal part that we're able to replace, but it's, you know, our materials are built for the most extreme environments. And not only the complexity of this part, but just think about just the overall quality, the surface finish, what you're seeing off a material extrusion printer like Roboze here. The next part I want to touch on is just this part out of Carbon PA Pro. Again, surface quality, a lot of people don't necessarily expect this with a traditional extrusion-based printer, but you can see the print quality on the screen there, right? Carbon PA Pro, great with regards to tensile strength, tensile modulus, great thermal resistance, another bread and butter material that we've developed in-house. Our Tooling X is one of the newest materials we've put onto the market. Great with regards to the majority, if not all, the tooling applications out there. This was a very complex part, very complex tool that we needed to build. Again, we had a sourcing issue with regards to getting this built. So great stiffness, chemical resistance, you know, just to give you an idea of what you can get accomplished. And I also want to just do an additional kind of snapshot on some additional super polymers. So obviously Altum is a big material for us as well in the aerospace industry. You can see it on the far left. I love this electrical kind of bus bar we have in Peak, right? Just the amount of complexity in that part, but also the surface finish. Our Carbon Peak part at the bottom right, again, this is another aerospace part. Really some of our bread and butter super polymers here is what you see on the screen. Traditional mid-range polymers, again, you're going to have access and again, just keep in mind the surface quality that you're getting here with our PLA, our range of ABS, whether it be our strong ABS material or our ESD material functional nylons, our polypropylene. The complexity, the surface finish, the accuracy of these parts is what you get. So just keep that in mind as we walk through. I want to give you guys just a quick snapshot of the materials that we have available. And this is, this is really how Roboze is positioned, right? We have this material that's been hard to just manufacture. We're able to 3D print it, and it's really based on some proprietary technology that we built in-house. So what I want to kind of showcase is the range of printers that we have, what makes them special. We also have a new product that we just announced at Formnext last week. We'll touch on that as well before we get into case studies. So there's two lines of printers over here at Roboze. We have our production series, which is our Argo 500, Argo 350, and then our professional series, which is the Plus Pro and the One Pro. You can see the build volume. Obviously, as you get into more of the production range, the build volume expands substantially. Two printers I want to highlight here is obviously the Plus Pro, again, great with regards to small batch production, excuse me, and obviously prototyping with high performance polymers. You get a build volume of roughly 300 by 250 by 220. There's a lot of features we'll touch on in the next couple of slides, but this one is great for small batch production and prototyping with our super polymers. The Argo 500, again, great with regards to large batches, large serialized production of parts. This is also one of our flagship printers, again, a build volume of 500 by 500 by 500. It's great with regards to really getting volume with regards to those super polymers. So just a couple of things I want to highlight on this slide. Really, the special ingredient, the patented technology we always like to touch on is the patented beltless system over here at Roboze. So traditionally with material extrusion, it is, it's usually an extrusion system on a belt technology. It tends to break down over time. There's a lot of maintenance you have to think about. With regards to us, part of our system is this rack and pinion beltless system. It's really the bread and butter of both our professional series, our production series. Delivers tremendous repeatability, tremendous dimensional tolerances, and positioning tolerances up to 10 microns. So this is something that really creates an environment where there's a lot less maintenance than what you see with traditional material extrusion. Usually if you think about the maintenance of our machine, it's really just greasing that rack and pinion once a month to make sure it's at its capability to produce what you need to produce. Our HPV extruder is another advantage I just want to touch on real quick. It's patent pending. It optimizes the flow of our high viscosity polymers. Again, this is a crucial component of working with some of the toughest materials to print with. It's going to obviously reduce shrinkage rate. We have the ability to do dual extrusion, and it's very easy in terms of maintenance and obviously replacing that extruder. It makes it very easy to change over. And I wanted to just list out a couple more advantages we have here as well, right? So on the far left, obviously you have our PLC, which really helps serialize, validate the production runs that you're under. We have a healthy level of paranoia with regards to pre-print process, right? And that's what you see with our high temperature filament dryer. So we want to make sure each spool of filament that's loaded up into our machine is at its optimal environment to print with, right? So we don't run into all the issues associated to, material that has a little bit more water absorption than it needs. The high temperature filament dryer is going to be able to raise the temperature so all the moisture sits at the top of that filament, and then we shoot high pressurized air over that filament, so it's at the most optimized environment possible before we actually extrude in our printers. We also have an insulated heated chamber, right? And it works more or less like a convection oven where it's actually pushing the air down over the part, so it's creating a uniform effect over that part, right? So the heated chamber is a crucial component of what we do. And then obviously the vacuum system with regards to the build plate. So I just want to quickly highlight some of the key advantages of the technology. We can definitely dive into this further if questions arise. I haven't mentioned this yet, but we have a new announcement with regards to Roboze and what we've launched on the market. We just announced this and brought it to Formnext last week, but the Argo 1000 with Hypermet technology is the largest pellet-based extrusion 3D printer on the market, patented Hypermet technology. And again, we are, it's a pellet-based extrusion, but we're also, built a technology that is capable of printing our PEX, our Carbon Peaks, our Ultims, our Carbon PA Pros. And you can see the build volume on the screen there. Really what we're looking at is traditional large format FFF. How do we speed things up and how do we decrease the price per part that we see on the market? And an extrusion pellet-based extrusion printer was really the way we went about it. So in terms of just outcomes, right, it's roughly, depending on the part that you're building, you're going to have a 10-fold speed increase. And based on a pellet extrusion technology, we're able to really reduce the cost per part. So again, really excited about this, something we just announced at Formnext. Again, if anybody has any questions on this, would like to see it, just let us know, let Harach know. We're really excited to bring this to the market in 2024. Right on. So we're going to step into customer testimonials. And really what I want to do is, we touched on this a little bit earlier, but just some of the application user stories that we have. I really want to focus on the verticals where, I touched on this a little bit earlier, energy, aerospace, industrial. That's really what we'll focus on. The first one up is going to be Siemens Energy, right? So this is more green energy, working in the turbine space, but we've had a very strong partnership with them for quite some time right now. Think about where these wind turbine farms are being built, where they're being placed, the rigorous environment with which they need to perform under the specific tolerances, the stresses, dealing with a range of different components when you build these things, right? And so Siemens, what I really see with them is not only just, you need to print high performance in-use parts, but the complexity of those high performance in-use parts is really why Siemens chose Roboze. And it's been a really exciting partnership. It's continuing to grow. Really excited about the work that we're doing together. If you think about traditional oil and gas, really what we see in this space is a lot of different components associated to, whether it be on a platform or, down the line with regards to pipeline applications. That's really what you see on the screen here. We have a ball valve seat and some ceilings in our PEEK material. Again, rigorous environment, a range of different chemical interactions associated to this pipeline. And this big customer of ours was struggling with trying to find and source a vendor to support this application. Another bread and butter application that we see is, in our carbon peak material, right? We have a swing check valve and a swing check valve disc. So very, very similar. There's probably a dozen applications within this pipeline alone that we've really had a tremendous amount of success with. And again, complex part, but high tolerances that needed to be met with regards to what this material could do in the environment that it was. And so this has been a really successful application for us as well in the energy sector. I don't know how many people on this call are following motorsports, but I just want to touch on our partnership with Ducati, right? If anyone tunes into these events and you get a chance to look into the Ducati garage, you're going to see one of our Argo printers in there. They're actually printing at the events just based on the high amount of iteration they might have to do. And it's been one of our most successful customers, right? There's a range of parts that you see on this bike on a regular basis, roughly about 8, to be honest, from just traditional instrumentation brackets, heat shields, electronic enclosures and PEEK, to some of our traditional mid-range polymers like our strong ABS for the airbox. We have a lot of Carbon PA Pro, a lot of Carbon Peak, a lot of PEEK. that are all 3D printed on the Roboze 3D printer professional and production series. So lots of in-use parts being used with the Roboze printers. Leonardo, again, really strong partnership that we have, and a very successful customer. They're constantly thinking of new ways that they can take their complex geometry, make it lighter, make it just as strong, make it faster than they've traditionally done with their supply chain. And they're very excited about what they see with Roboze and our peak material with the Roboze production and Pro Series printers. So they've been experimenting quite a bit. There's a series of different parts that they see and that they're validating for their helicopters. So very excited about this. Just a couple more examples of applications we see in this space, from carbon peak to traditional tooling that we see in the aerospace with carbon PA and carbon peak. This is just a hand layup tool. We have a complex cup holder in our Ultim 9085. So whether it's a low production batch, a batch that needs to be produced, whether you're looking to build your own digital inventory, aerospace is really starting to take off, because again, we really focus on these regulated industries, making sure that we validate the specific parts that we're building before really growing in that space. And that's what we've done in whether it be oil and gas, energy, aerospace, industrial, automotive, medical. We're a very technical group that will validate in these regulated industries before we expand. A couple other great examples. One I'll touch on specifically here is this landing gear guard in our Ultim material. Again, this was a traditional metal consumable part for this plane. Having a hard time sourcing that part, but at the same time struggling with the fact that they had to constantly just turn this metal component into a consumable. Now they get to do it in our Ultim material. So again, really excited about that. We also have an electronic case, just in terms of the range of applications. We have another series of different applications, from the air duct that you see on the bottom right in our Ultim material, to these erosion shields and carbon peak, to this acoustic liner, as an example, right? This is the space that we really excel in. Sasol is a chemical production company out of South Africa. Again, for them, chemically inert materials was really the focus for them, not necessarily metal replacement, although that's what it actually became. They needed parts that were originally sourced in metal, and they struggled with their interactions with some of the industrial chemicals that they were producing, right? And so that's when they moved to Roboze to actually build what they needed to build. And there's a range of different applications we see on a regular basis. Go out into the shop floor, you're going to see them everywhere in terms of where we might be a good fit. I got a couple more examples here I wanted to kind of touch on in manufacturing. So you'll see this throughout manufacturing, throughout industrial. Carbon PA Pro is really a bread and butter material for us. We have this frame bracket, which was a traditional metal replacement part. We have a centering device in Carbon PA Pro as well. And then we have this robot arm end effector in Peak. So just to give you a range of materials and applications that we see in this space. And just to take it a step further, we have these gripping fingers in our PA Pro. A lot of folks are really starting to see what our Flex TPU can kind of bring to the table with the range of applications they're working with. And then we have just another flexible TPU part in this chuck job production. So a series of different tooling applications, and just in tough, very difficult environments to work in. So yeah, that is really what I wanted to talk today about, and just give this introduction to who Roboze is, where we're going. We're really excited about the partnership with Dynamism, where we can take this together. And at this point, I'd love to kind of break it off and answer any questions that have arisen, if there's any.
Levi, that was a great presentation, a lot of useful information. As everyone can see, these super materials are addressing a lot of these different applications, and this is just scratching the surface of what Roboze is capable of doing. So in the future, if you guys want to reach out and discuss, we'll be happy to bring in our applications teams and discuss your applications, see how the materials fit and perform, and we can provide you with samples. We're actually getting our Roboze demo installed very shortly, so we'll be able to provide some great samples for you. And like Levi mentioned, looking at these parts, you'll definitely have to do a double take because they do not look like FDM parts. The surface finish, the accuracy is definitely on a different level with Roboze. So we'd be happy to explore your application and provide you with samples. Just feel free to reach out to myself or our team or Levi, and we'll be help you with all that's needed.
Perfect. I appreciate that, Harach. And yeah, like I said, we'll keep it open just one more minute or so, see if any questions arise. Really excited about bringing this technology to the market with Dynamism. And as I mentioned, right, if anything's of interest, whether it be, our technology, or just you just have an application problem, this is the beauty of Dynamism. They've been doing 3D printing for more than a decade, and they've been bringing the newest, most innovative products to the market, right? They see where the gap is and they go and find and source that vendor. So this partnership's really exciting. We do think there's a tremendous amount of potential here in the North American market. So obviously I'm here supporting Harach, but at the same time, yeah, any questions, we can definitely get them answered.
I think you answered all the questions, Levi. Great presentation.
Awesome. Awesome. Wonderful. Well, everyone, I really appreciate the time today. If anything arises, definitely reach out to Harach. I got Harach's back, so I'm backing him up. But I really appreciate the time, and everyone have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.